We have Jeremy Eldredge, the Marketing Director. Is that your handle?
Yep, that's it.
At Hoyt. And we're going to talk about the new VTM bow. And this was introduced just a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah, yep, this is brand new for 2023, the VTM. It's kind of the third bow in our series. Yeah, if you're familiar with our line and follow it close, you saw the Ventum come out 2 years ago. Last year the Ventum Pro, and this year the VTM. And each year, to get incrementally better. I know a lot of our customers like to see big changes and stuff that doesn't even look familiar, but that's a lot of work. It's just not always realistic.
Well, plus if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Right, and this is the Ventum and Ventum Pro, this series of bows with the HBX Pro Cam. I mean, it's just crazy how smooth this bow is, how quiet it is, how smooth it is, easy to tune. So yeah, it doesn't need any big changes right now. But with that said, the VTM does have quite a few changes. I mean, as quiet as the Ventum Pro was, Bill, this bow is 31% quieter. And
how did you test that? What did you do?
So our up in our engineering department, we have a sound lab, and it's a room, a little bit bigger than this where we're sitting here, and it has sound foam, like studio foam, recording studio foam, on every inch of that room. Floor, the walls, the ceiling, every part of that room. And so when you walk in there, it's actually kind of eerie when the door closes, because it's like one of the only times you hear nothing in your life, right? You walk in there and it is dead silent. And they have all their equipment in there to measure sound. And so that's how they're able to get to that kind of an exact measurement.
So you're shooting it with the shooting machine or something? Or how do you establish that?
Yep, so we've got a hooter shooter up there, and then we've got several microphones that go around different parts of the bow. So that's something we've been focusing on a lot for the last few years. If you kind of think about bows, when I started working at Hoyt, I've been here 18 years. And for a lot of those years, we were able to chase speed. And every year our bows would get, 5 feet faster, 4 feet faster, 7 feet faster. And that was the easy thing to chase and go make improvements on. But if you've noticed over the last several years, like speeds, they're kind of maxed out. Not only with Hoyt, but our competitors. Everybody's kind of where they're at right now. And it's kind of the sweet spot where you get a bow that's fast, has really good energy, but the bows are still fun to shoot. We could make them even faster, but we would hate to shoot them. They wouldn't be fun to draw back.
The draw cycle would be too harsh.
Right.
Come up to poundage too quick, drop off too sharp.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're in a sweet spot right now where they're smooth to draw, smooth to shoot, plenty fast. And so while we're kind of peaked out on performance for now until something comes along that changes everything, the one thing we're chasing now is just smoothness of the bow, sound, and then the system. Making the bow system, designing accessories that are designed to go with the bow that make the bow even better when you use our accessories. So that's why the last few years our bows have kept getting quieter, and smoother and smoother.
So what makes it quieter? Can you talk about the...
Yeah, so there's a few things. One of the things that you don't think about it, but this riser, I mean, it's a big tuning fork. I mean, depending on the cutouts and the thicknesses of the aluminum in certain places, it's either going to vibrate like crazy or be dead quiet.
Right.
So by our engineers just continue to kind of chase the shape of the riser and cutouts here and weight distribution here.
So you can cancel.
Yeah, it makes it the riser itself will dampen better and be quieter. Items like the riser shocks, we used to have 2 on the bottom, and by a bunch of testing we realized 1 on the bottom, 1 on the top actually helped. This year a big thing we did, so this is the whole shot string dampener, and we added this little tail in the middle there, so now it goes through that, and so this is the whole shot 2.0, and that had a really big impact on sound as well.
Interesting.
So yeah, and then even the string weight distribution, these string weights, they're not just there by chance. Like our engineers do a ton of testing, moving that at a 1/16 of an inch, moving it an 1/8 of an inch, and just moving them up and down, spreading them out closer here, farther here.
Another reason why a person wants to buy the Hoyt string.
Yeah.
Because it's been optimized.
Right, yeah. I mean, our bows are designed with our strings, tested with our strings, proven with our strings, and so if the first thing you do when you buy this bow is go buy a different set of strings, you lose all of that testing, durability, performance that we put into the bow.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I always felt like too, back in people don't realize it, but I was actually an engineer in the archery industry for a little while, and one of the things that made a big difference was the overall efficiency. you know, like you can change the cam design and the weight of the limbs, and you know how much the limb tip moves versus the whole limb.
Right.
You know how much the string, you know, is affected during the shot. All that vibration has to go someplace during
Right.
the shot. So it's not, noise isn't just about dampening. It's about finding the sweet spot for all of those components,
Right.
And just making the bow more efficient overall, which translates into more of the energy going into the arrow and less of it just bouncing around after the shot.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
There's
that's,
a lot that goes into it.
yeah, I mean, it's more than just, it's way more complicated than people think.
Yeah, oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's cool. So tell us some more about the VTM.
Yeah, so it comes in 2 axle-to-axle lengths, 31 inches and 34 inches. So the VTM 31 or the VTM 34. Carried over our HBX Pro cam, which I just talked about, which if you haven't shot this cam, you know, you need to go shoot it and try it. It's such a smooth cam to draw and to shoot. Easy to adjust draw length and easy to tune. The grip, this is probably, Hoyts have always had an awesome grip. Like we've always been able to have, you know, comfortable grips and narrow grips. And a lot of that has to do because we have the tech riser.
That's right.
So, you know, in other bows that don't have the tech riser, right in the middle is the grip, and so they've got to keep the grip beefy enough to stay durable
That's
and
where all
safe.
the stress is at on the
Right,
riser.
all the stress is right there. But this is actually the widest part of our bow, the strongest part of our bow, but enables us to have the smallest, narrowest grip. And so this is our Vital Point grip. It's a new material. We came out with it last year. It's just really comfortable, and just the hand just slides in there time after time in the same spot, so you get consistency in each shot.
Yeah, yeah, good. Okay, so Hoyt dealers, obviously, and it's going to be, we did a plant tour, and you were talking about some of the lead times on getting a bow. Certain sizes are going to be quick, but if you're not in the more or less most common range, you might have to wait a few weeks to get one.
Yeah, so right now dealers are getting loaded up, so dealers are getting inventory. So I don't want to say, you know, that there won't be a bow available.
Right.
You could go to a dealer and they might have one on the shelf ready to go, so you could get a bow tomorrow. If they don't have the one you need and they need to order it, if it's a size we already have on the shelf, it'll ship out immediately, and if it's not, then it'll go into our queue, and right now we're 6 to 8 weeks out.
Yeah. So don't sit around.
That's right. Go get it ordered. A couple other things that are cool about this bow. So drop away cords, you know, in the past have had to come around the back of our tech bar.
Right, that's right.
So this year we actually machined a hole into the tech bar, so the cord has a straighter shot to the cable. There's a little port on the front of the bow too. If you shoot like a Garmin Zero sight that has a cord that needs to go down to a trigger, so that cord can run through there.
That one's got the Pic-Rail as an option.
Yep, built-in Pic-Rail, so you can get your sight mounted on the front of your bow instead of the side of your bow.
What percentage of people are using those, do you think?
I see a lot. I don't know the percentage, but when I'm at tournaments or out hunting and I see guys with their bow set up, they understand the advantage of that, and they're taking advantage of it.
Well, the main advantage is the weight is more centered.
Yeah. So if you see this is one of my bows here. I've got the Excel landslide sight, and with the Pic-Rail, so it's mounted on the front of my bow instead of the side of my bow.
Right.
And now you can see my quiver. And my quiver is really tight to my bow.
Yeah.
And so I don't have a bunch of weight from the quiver out far.
Falling
I don't
out.
have the weight from the sight on the side of my bow. So my bow balances really well now because everything is in tight and in line with the riser. So that's what we call this system, is our inline accessory system, where the rest isn't mounted on the side of my bow, it's mounted on the back of my bow. The sight's on the front of my bow, the quiver is in tight. So it's an inline accessory system, keeps everything streamlined with the bow.
And it makes a big difference if you're shooting with your quiver and all your accessories attached to the side of the bow. I remember I shot in a 100-yard broadhead contest at ATA one year.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And Randy Ulmer was in that. And of course, Randy never let any detail slip.
Right.
You know, he controlled every variable. And one of the things that he knew was how far his bow fell for each arrow that he removed from the quiver.
Oh,
Because we had to shoot 5 arrows out of the quiver.
Right.
So he knew that that at 100 yards, the bow was going to chip this much with 4 arrows in it, this much with 3, this much with 2. So his aim point would change at 100 yards depending on how many arrows were in the quiver.
Right.
And that's how much a difference it makes. And granted, we don't shoot 100 yards,
Right.
typically with whitetails, but that's how much of a difference it makes on how much the bow falls while the arrow is still on, moving forward.
Yeah. So all those little things make a difference. So.
Yeah. So lining it all up just balances
Yeah.
the bow better.
Balances it better.
Yeah.
So the thing, like I do on this bow, I do have a sidebar. I have a front stabilizer. But because these accessories are inline and tighter, I don't need as much weight on this as I used to. And then this stabilizer position, instead of being up on the grip, it's out in front and lower, so it lowers the center of gravity and brings the weight out front like you normally would with a long stabilizer. So I don't need as heavy or as long of a stabilizer on the front, and then I don't need as long or heavy on the sides. So my overall system is lighter and more streamlined because of the inline system.
Yeah, and that's the same thing as on the new bow.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. What else? Anything else on here that we need to talk about?
I mean, it's everything on this bow is just it's designed to go with the inline system. It's our quietest bow, smoothest bow, and I know
What are
there's
some of the
everybody
specs?
says that every year.
Let's talk about the specs, like on arrow speed.
Yeah, so this bow, the 31 inch shoots 342 feet per second.
And what is that? What arrow is that?
That's with at 70 pounds, 5 grains per pound.
So 350 grain
yeah,
arrow.
So 350 grain arrow, 70 pounds, 30 inches.
Okay, so that'd be like the old IVO spec or whatever
Yeah.
you call it.
Yep. Yep. And then the VTM 34, a little bit longer bow, that one shoots 334 feet per second.
The difference is probably the brace height, right?
Yep, the brace height. And then also the little more compact bow, it does store a little more energy at that draw length.
Okay, well, good. I appreciate it, and I'm sure you'll do well with these.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, getting great reviews already. And like I said, you just got to shoot it. Once you shoot it, you realize, man, it is, it gets a little better each year.
Yeah,
It's fun.
And we talked about that when I got here. It was like, you can't sell a bow with words anymore because
Yeah.
everybody's saying the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So you got to go and shoot them.
We all do say it because we all believe our bows are smooth.
Oh, no,
and they all
they
are.
all are.
Right?
Yeah, but
you
in
go
order-
shoot it, and then you realize you start to feel the differences.
The subtle changes. Yeah. So, excellent. Well, thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah, you bet.